Hey guys, it's Ninja here with my man Elliot.
What's going on?
Part 2 of the hamstring saga. So tell us about what happened to the hamstring.
So last you guys saw, my hamstring was torn from a sprint. I was feeling better, recovering, to the point where I didn't even feel it. I was feeling pretty good. And so I went skydiving with mates and totally forgot about it. And so for the landing, when we come in, if there's no wind, as you're finishing off your landing there, you can sometimes run it out.
Yep.
Totally forgot about it. So in that case, I should have just slid it in, but instead I chose to run it out. And that's when I realized, oh no, I've overloaded and injured the hamstring. And so retore the torn hamstring.
So you show us, man.
So this is actually...
How long on?
This is, what is this, 13 days? Yeah.
After this
not
second
13,
time?
about 10 days, sorry, 10 days. 10 days after the second re-tear.
Looking to the calf as well, you can see that. So it happened up here though, isn't it?
Yeah, so
there's no bruising up here.
So where the tear is, I think, is about here.
Yep.
That's where I felt it initially, and when I restrained it, it was kind of here as well. And so what's happened is like the fibers have torn there, there's bleeding happening, and now what you're seeing here is just the bruising that's kind of drained through. So even though it looks all messed up here, this is actually all fine. It's just the blood that's kind of come through here.
Yep.
And a few days ago, last week, this was really dark and really swollen there. So this is actually really, really good. You see old bruising there, it's clearing. That's what the body does. You know, and so this whole time, I wasn't overly protecting it. Obviously, I wasn't running, but I was, trying to walk, trying to move, trying to keep those muscles switched on and active, not straining too hard, but just making sure I'm not, overcompensating the other way. Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty good now. I can straighten my knee, I can walk fairly normal. My left side I can bend down this far, right side I can bend to about there at the moment before the hamstring sort of says I don't want to go any further. So making some good improvements.
And you also said your left hand leg needed some rehab anyway, and you're just unconsciously using that a lot more to protect this one while you're standing at concerts and things like that.
Naturally, my right leg is my strong leg, and it's the one that I when I'm just tired or whatever, I'll stand more on my right leg. And so over time, I always felt that my right glute, my right pelvis was always tilting this way. So if I was sitting, I'd always feel like I'd kind of lean off to my right side. Even if I try to sit in the middle, it'd always feel like I'd naturally shift off to the right. So that's my strong side. But since this has been sore and hurting, my body's now naturally telling me to get off that side. So I was at a concert last night, watching perform in the standing area, and I was just basically standing on one leg most of the time, just standing here. So I could feel my muscles in here, my glutes here engaged just to hold me up. And maybe it's a blessing in disguise, Ninj, learning how to control the other side a bit more.
That's it, yeah. Blessing and a curse. I like to say, from shit flowers grow. It's one of those things, every cloud's got a silver lining, so.
That's it.
Jump on the table, man. Let's flush the bruise a bit, and then maybe have a bit of a feel around with the high hammy as well, see if that needs a bit of love to help with the healing. So
the tear doesn't hurt. It's the muscles that are guarding and protecting that have contracted. They're the ones that hurt.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that is just trying to, remind the body it's okay. We're now safe. So we can calm down that tissue, get those hamstrings to be active again, not compensate.
Yeah.
A lot of long-term problems happen because people are overprotective, and there's a good reason why they're being protective, because they're not sure what's going on.
Yeah.
But I could see in my leg there was no massive deformity, so I knew I didn't do a rupture. That it was like, a decent grade 2 tear. Yeah. But muscle tears have a really good recovery rate. And your body activates these things called satellite cells that grow new muscle tissue. Yeah. It happens as soon as you have the injury there, they start to come into life. Yeah. So my body's doing that. I've got to respect that process. Yeah.
You're a bit of a veteran at the tears, aren't you? You've kind of done, it's not your first rodeo, mate.
Kind of like having tears, don't I?
You kind of revel in it, don't you? It's like your own little experiment. You kind of get to
if you're going to have an injury,
it.
Muscle tears are probably the better ones to have.
Yeah.
They don't as bad as they look. But yeah, it's all shit technique, I reckon.
Your running technique.
Yep.
Come back to ninja school.
That's
running barefoot.
Gotta get my foot placement right. Gotta get the drills in, conditioning properly.
Yeah. Well, with the barefoot sprinting, a lot of efficiency and pure nature of the biomechanics comes through with healthy competition as well, because it makes you be more efficient and find the better pathways to be better. So, and that is not overstriding and things like that, or high knee lift. It's whatever it takes to get to that line faster. And that's kind of different to a lot of way people go about it. They try and do drills and different things like that to improve their sprint. But the best way to improve a sprint is to sprint, but sprint with healthy competition. That's the thing I'm emphasizing. So you've got to have a chance. Everyone's got a chance of winning that race, whether it's a 10 metre or 20 metre or 50 metre, 150 metre race. If you've got handicapped well, everyone tries, and that is a really important thing. And I suppose preface that as well. If you're going to sprint flat out, you've got to have a base of conditioning as well. So you've got to have done reps, and had good recovery. With sprints, you need that week or so of, recovery from that actual event to let the nervous system, let the healing happen. Nervous system come back to, regulate itself and things like that. Because so many micro tears, micro fractures and traumas, sort of micro traumas going on whenever you do really intense exercise. So you need that time for your body to heal and come back and build back a bit better, or coordinate a bit better. So that's sort of a really important thing to consider. But you also need this thing to come back and be keen again too. So not just your physical body needs to be keen when you're going to do really intense stuff. You've got to actually be hungry for it. I love that kind of thing at the moment. So yeah, it's really important stuff to consider. Yeah. So that's barefoot sprinting 101. So yeah, any age you can be sprinting, but it's a lot easier if you fucking don't stop, so you've got to keep on going. Like I've been sprinting since I was 6.
For real?
Yeah, so I'm nearly coming up to 50 years of sprints. So.
What's the longest break you've had from sprinting?
I suppose I didn't. I've been doing my lifts consistently since 2001. So it's 2025 now. So that's 25th year of it, 24 years or something. And then, but 2011 is when I really committed to sprints as a barefoot sprint club. But I've been sprinting. I did a lot of racing and stuff when I was 20. So I just learnt all the training methods and things like that, and then overtrained, made mistakes, and then kind of learnt about being specific and honouring the energy systems and things like that. So you meant training once or twice a week with your flat out sprints, and then getting really light with your body as well. So you're not putting extra stress on your hamstrings, because that's the most important thing with hamstring is when you're landing. So if you're landing out here, you've got to pull your body right over. But if you're landing underneath you, absorbing the force through there, kissing down towards the ground with your foot, it's a lot more efficient. You not as much stress on your hamstrings when you're doing that pulling through. So that's what matters when you're running, is that time on the ground, your efficiency with that, your power with that. So your time up in the air, you're not actually propelling your body forwards. So that kind of fancy stuff, you see people prancing or whatever, that doesn't matter how good it looks. It matters what you're doing when you're driving energy and force through the ground.
Yeah, for sure. My biggest problem was just my foot placement, basically, and I thought I had it in the right spot, but I was way too far in front still.
Yeah. I think you got it on camera, didn't you?
The
sprint one.
I'll get the video out. Yeah, you can probably see the moment where it happens.
Yeah. Isn't it like the moment, you've seen the Simpsons episode where the moment when you see Homer's heart break or whatever?
Oh, it's
he's talking to the doctor.
Yep.
Oh no, talking to Mr. Burns or something.
He's having a heart attack.
What's going on inside his...
Though you're thinking of the other one, Ralph Wiggum. He was having the heartbreak. Yeah. So he's on TV and Bart goes, "Look, Lisa, this is the moment we can see his heartbreak," and he's going frame by frame.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty funny. Yeah, old Simpsons.
No, it's still good.
Yeah. Classic. How do they manage to do so many good episodes? They just cover so many different topics too, different scenarios in life.
I guess it's very relatable, hey, like that nuclear family in America, like middle class. But look at Homer, you know, you got 3 kids, just works at a power plant.
Bald.
It's like big house. It's not too bad.
Yeah. I was at a kinder, like a 3-year-old kinder, just a couple of days ago, and I had memories of Simpsons, you know, at the little kinders or whatever they are, the playgroups or childcare, you know, where the babies are all kind of running around bumping into each other and shit, you know, sort of like, fuck, it is, you know, it's just stuff that sticks in your memory. And I probably haven't even watched any Simpsons for 20 years, but I still remember there's so many things embedded from the Simpsons in my head.
Oh, that's a good line there.
Yeah, it's tight in there, eh? Ooh. So we're just demonstrating too that you can work on people even when it's sort of close to the severe trauma date, but what you've got to do is tune in to what the sensations they're experiencing. So if Elliot at any stage feels like I'm, you know, traumatizing him further, he's just got to put the handbrake on and just stay back, you know. So that's one of the agreements that we have, because you know in yourself what is therapeutic, and you know what is damaging further, and you know what is doing nothing.
That's it.
So you've got to tune into that, and we have a lot better chance of not stuffing it up because we go so slow with our treatments. So I can probably just go through here a bit. You can see some good red patch in there. I don't know if the light's getting into that good, but we're going to have a quick little discussion on something else. Elliot, you kind of had a topic you kind of wanted to broach.
Oh, that's it, yeah, on tight tissues. So, you know, different types of tight tissues as well. Like when people say, oh, that muscle feels tight, or when a therapist is feeling tissues, then go, well, that area is tight there. What do they mean? I have a feeling that there's more than one way to define them. So the main 2 I could think of was like muscle contraction, like a muscle spasm. It's when you touch a muscle like the traps or the bicep, and you feel it's all bunched up and it's quite contracted. Feels like it's trying to hold a weight, even though there's no weight there. That's when the muscle's like active. It's been asked by the nervous system to contract, right? That's one form of tightness. And then the other form of tightness is when the tissues are sticking to each other, right? So adhesions or scarring, or where movement hasn't happened. So a classic example of that is when you've had a wrist or a foot in a cast, right? Keep it there for a month or 6 weeks, and then after it comes out of the cast, what happens? It's real stiff, right? And so the joints are stiff, but also the tissues and the muscles there, because they haven't been stretching and sliding. Normally they would gloss over each other and slide over each other, but if they've been immobilized for that period of time, the layers start sticking to each other, right? And so what I was thinking about, Ninja, was that in both of those examples there, when people try to stretch the tissues there, I feel like the part of the tissue that's not tight, that's able to slide well and move well, is the part that stretches. But the part that's got either contraction or the part that's got adhesion doesn't give. Right? So when you're feeling tight and you stretch and you're feeling, why isn't this feeling better even though I'm stretching? That's probably why. And what we're trying to do with bodywork there is to attack where it's being tight. So if it's tight because of stickiness, then we want to unstick those tissues, get them glossing and moving better. And if it's because of contraction, then we're trying to ask that muscle to let go of its contraction. And you'll notice that when we get that body work done properly, when you go to stretch, it feels like that range is so much further.
Bodywork is awesome. It talks to your physical body like nothing else can. You know, it's such a great healing modality that we've got the privilege of witnessing people, you know, heal and prosper and perform better. And I just love it. because it is a language. You just know when you got getting good body work delivered, and that message it sends to your brain, it just sort of, you just know that you're going to get better from it, and because you kind of, there's light at the end of the tunnel, you do the things that are going to help you get better as well. It's when you kind of give up, you don't do the things that are going to, you know, make you get better, like eat better, sleep better, you know, move your body, you know, do your compression or your, you know, those kind of things. So, yeah, I think that's really important. Yeah.
For sure.
But, and the other one I said to Elliot as well, like you can have stuff that is taut long, like a rope that is just really on, you know, stretched out. And that a lot of people have long, tight hamstrings, but Bodywork can also help that out as well, because that tissue is taut and long, and that elastic properties is no longer there. So you kind of can work on that fascia to make the case surrounding the groups of muscles, and then the muscle itself, and then the fibers and the spindles. You can kind of work on that fascia to make it more liquefied again, more gel-like. That's what fascia is when it's healthy, it's a gel. So you want that to become more gel-like, so that again it can contract, it can squish into itself better, you know. So yeah, it's like a reprogramming of that fascial system, so it can hydrate and squish and stretch again. So yeah, it's amazing stuff. So yeah, Bodywork can enable so much healing to happen, and then you can put the loads through properly, you know, purely. So yeah, it's
For sure, just balancing those tensions.
yeah.
Yeah, there are times I feel like, you know, that there's so much tension builds up in another area that the person might not be feeling as well. So it could be like, you know, that the tissues in front of their body are what's short and tight. So I got a marathon runner that I was treating today. He was getting some, he'd feel that every time he tries to lift his foot behind him, his back would start to feel this strange ache, more on his left side than his right. And he'd almost start to cramp a little bit in his hamstring as well. So in my mind, I was thinking he's got a lot of resistance to try to overcome just to bring that leg behind him. And so what might be pulling from the front that's stopping him from doing that? So I had a look at his hip flexors, had a look at the TFL, the quad, worked into the TFL and along down the ITB as well, and got him to test that again. He could swing his legs so much more freely after that.
Yeah, sweet.
So that's an example of where I felt that the front had shortened. As the front's shortening there, the body's now in a forward shortened state. And so to try to pull the leg behind is going to have to take a lot more effort. And so his back was trying to, there's nothing wrong with his back. His back was actually just trying to help to pull that leg back. But it just couldn't get in the position right. And so once you take away that adhesion from the front, that contraction of the TFL, sorry, that just took away that resistance.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the start of something good there.
Something good. Yeah, I'm just trying to, going on where you said that inside line now, you feel like there was that was where it originated up in here. So I'm just trying to engage with that hamstring tendon, whereas on the sit bone up in there, and then I've just kind of stayed connected, and then just trying to work down along it, and then any kind of trauma that's been in this region here, I can kind of work it at a level that's going to help it heal, kind of reorganize that scar tissue a bit straighter, things like that, and then you'll be better for it. So you can feel, just bunching up a bit there. How do you feel there?
Yeah, it's getting into it now.
Yeah.
Getting closer to the blast zone.
Yeah. We'll work through it.
Yeah, so before we're talking about the overload of the hamstrings in that foot placement, I'm thinking that parachute landing example was just a prime example of just really trying to use my hamstrings to brake, decelerate, and that's heaps of eccentric load through the hamstring there. So when it's injured, you're asking way too much.
Yeah. that's a massive part of sprinting fast is minimizing your braking forces. So every time you land, whether you're walking, jogging, running, there's a deceleration component. So because you're landing and there's a lot of friction and impact, jarring. So you want to minimize that so you can be more efficient. So yeah, when you're overstriding, there's just a real impact. There's no absorption of that shock, and there's a lot more dragging of your body weight using your hamstring over your foot. So yeah, if you can minimize your braking forces, you're going to be a faster runner and more efficient, less injured sprinter as well. So yeah, it's good things to learn your lessons.
For sure.
You know.
This recovery time has given me a perfect opportunity to plan my way back in.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I want to get back to, is being able to do those sprints.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, I'm feeling like I want to also work up to doing some 5Ks as well.
Yeah.
I've done a couple here and there, but I want to be a bit more consistent with it, just because I'm real interested in getting some good tendon conditioning.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so I think the 5K is a good opportunity for that. Oh, that's good.
Just there.
Yeah, there and down is all good.
Yeah, and the elbow option. So I can get in there and clear it. So yeah, we'll have to check back in with you next month, see how this is played out.
That's it. By next month, it will be 5-6 weeks. Just about nearly 6 weeks from the re-injury. And by then, I'll be probably light jogging.
Yeah, see how fast you can move, what stage you're at.
Yeah. Tested out a bit of strength a couple of days ago, doing some hamstring bridges.
Yeah.
Could do it with 2 legs. Single leg, not yet. Not enough strength to push through.
Yeah.
And even tried one eccentric, and I was a bit too. It was about to cramp. So
Yeah.
it's a good test.
My hamstrings bloody cramp when I'm not injured, bro. So. Clear through this. So we're gonna probably wrap her up. So yeah, so thanks for tuning in today. You know, like, subscribe, share, make sure you comment. You know, even if you haven't commented before, just let us know what you think of our discussion, what you think of treating something with a bruise, anything like that. We're keen to hear from you. We do respond to the comments that are thoughtful and, you know, things like that. There's some we don't, you know, we delete them. But thanks for your support, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Done.